Season 3 of The White Lotus is out. Let's talk about episode 1. Hey everyone, welcome into The Pop Culture Life. I'm John Lunsford, and we finally have a new season of The White Lotus. This time, we're in Thailand. For those that haven't watched the show, go watch episode 1, then come back because this will be spoiler heavy, recapping the episode. If you have not seen White Lotus before, I highly recommend it. It's basically a satirical comedy / murder mystery show that really has a different take than other whodunits. Each season basically starts with somebody is dead, but A, you don't know who did it, and B, you don't even know who is dead. Usually murder mysteries, you know who is dead, and then it's motivations on who could have potentially killed that person. Season 1 had one person die, Season 2 had a whole bunch of people die, and now here we are in Season 3, so let's jump in. So we don't know who is dead or how many people are dead exactly, but the show starts with Zion, who we learn is Belinda's college-age son. The main crossover between seasons 1 and 2 was Jennifer Coolidge's character Tanya, and in season 1 we saw, I guess you can call it a friendship, but it was more of a transactional friendship between Belinda and Tanya. Remember, Belinda wanted to start her own wellness center, and then Tanya became more interested in romance with Greg, who had a terminal illness, played by John Grice, and she ended up just leaving a large sum of cash to Belinda. Belinda gets mad she doesn't have a business partner, she trashes her business plan, and that's the last we saw of her. We've seen in the promotion that she's back. Obviously, Tanya won't be back if you've seen season 2, but the show starts with Zion starting in a meditation session, and then we hear gunshots ring out, and he's worried about his mom, and we learn pretty quickly that Belinda and Zion are related. As he's running towards the gunfire to find his mom, we see a dead body floating in the water, and that's all we have. That's how the season starts. Then it flashes back to 1 week earlier, and everybody arrives like the show typically does. So it's the same formula. It's a bit more like season 1, I feel like, in Hawaii as opposed to the season in Italy, but the formula has worked so far, so we'll see. The characters this time are, of course, Belinda, who is there to learn how things are done at this specific White Lotus to take back to Hawaii. We then meet Rick Hatchett, who is played by Walton Goggins, who is on a roll right now. He is grumpy from the start and super negative, but his young British girlfriend, Chelsea, tries desperately to lighten the mood and be positive. Honestly, there's a little bit of Baby Billy in there from The Righteous Gemstones. It's hard to see much else after that show, especially because it's kind of a similar situation. He's older with a new young wife in that one. He's older with a younger British girlfriend in this one. We see Rick's motivations are that he's basically trying to find the American husband of the owner for some reason that I'm sure will make itself clear in the future. We then meet wealthy businessman Timothy Ratliff, who is played by Jason Isaacs. Most people probably know him from playing Lucius Malfoy in Harry Potter. So, he can be a pretty good bad guy, but I actually came to appreciate him in The OA on Netflix, in which he was a real bad guy. I highly recommend that show, by the way. Timothy keeps getting calls from the Wall Street Journal showing that either he or his company are in major legal trouble, and then he has random run-ins with Rick, who he hates for some reason, mostly because Rick's always smoking. His wife, Victoria, is played by Parker Posey, who's a pretty good actress. They have 3 children, Saxon, Piper, and Lachlan. Those just sound like spoiled rich kids. No offense if that's your name. They're there for Piper. She's the lone daughter, and she's writing a college thesis on Buddhism. Lachlan, the younger brother, is trying to spend some time with both siblings, and you could tell he's a bit of a loner, a bit of a loser. Saxon, meanwhile, is incredibly weird and, let's face it, horny, and trying very hard to find someone to connect with at the resort. The whole trio of kids, specifically Saxon, who, by the way, is played by Patrick Schwarzenegger, they give off major Targaryen vibes, if you know what I mean. Then we have 3 friends that are on vacation, the most notable of which is Jacqueline Lemon, played by Michelle Monaghan, who is a popular TV star and gets recognized throughout the resort. She's brought her 2 childhood friends, Kate, played by Leslie Bibb, and Laurie, played by Carrie Coon. And we see pretty quick that Laurie gets alienated in conversation, and Kate and Jacqueline are much closer together than Laurie with either one of them. So those are the guests, but we also have a storyline with Gaitak, a security guard at the resort, and Mook, who is a health mentor there. This is very much just kind of an introduction to the cast, and that's what I would expect from the first episode. There's a lot of people, and they're all pretty much main characters in it. It kind of sets up some motivation for the characters, such as Rick clearly has ulterior motives for being there, Timothy is in major trouble on the other side of the world, and Laurie is clearly upset with her friends. After season 1, we know how the game works now, so we're instantly trying to figure out who got killed and who did the killing, but we don't know much yet. However, a major twist came at the end of the episode when Chelsea was at the bar drinking after a rough dinner with Rick, when a model comes up next to her named Chloe, who I'm not sure was actually trying to be nice to Chelsea when she talked about her big front teeth. I think she was kind of being mean, but they talk about their fights with their respective boyfriends at the bar when it turns out Chloe's boyfriend is Greg, Tanya's widower. So Tanya is still going to somewhat have a role here, even from the grave, with the two people that she had major interactions with in previous seasons. And John Grice is the one that has now been on all 3 seasons of the White Lotus. I'd love to try and go ahead and take a guess at who got killed and who did the killing, but it's a little too early. The good thing about this show, though, is it truly makes you think everyone has motivations to kill and be killed. And that's already set up here. So things will obviously expand from here. I'm excited to see where the show goes. I think the character I'm most looking forward to watching is Rick, which is Walton Goggins' character. And then maybe how things tie in with Greg, who I did not realize was going to be on this season. He really wasn't using the promotional material. Also Belinda, since she had an arc with Tanya, and I'm sure they started off the show with her son for a reason. So what did you think about Season 3, Episode 1 of The White Lotus? Do you like the cast and the direction so far? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like this video and subscribe for more pop culture content.